Our gecko is shedding, and you can see it's driving her a little crazy. She's trying to pull off the skin. She is rubbing against the walls of the aquarium. She's rubbing against her rock. Generally, when she gets it off, she will pull it off in one fell swoop, one big chunk, and eat it all at once. So it's very interesting to watch, and I don't catch her doing this very often. In fact, this is the first time I've seen her where she's just now starting to pull it off. So it's just fascinating to me, and I love to watch. This is why I like having this beautiful leopard gecko. You see, she's making progress. I think maybe she's taking a break. She's so tired. We call her Stripes, but she, ironically, because she is a leopard gecko, she does have spots, but whenever they're little, they do have stripes. And we've had her for how many years now, Dylan? Would you say? Probably, we've lived here for almost 5 years, so we've probably had her for at least 4. She's not grown a lot in the last few years. That she is probably about as big as she's going to get. Though she does grow a little bit and does continue to shed. Geckos are naturally inquisitive, and so just about every time we get in there to clean her cage, she comes out checking out what's going on and she's not afraid. She doesn't like to be picked up. We don't handle her much. She did get used to it after Dylan had picked her up a few times, but for the most part, we just kind of let her be. You can see a cricket peeking its head out of there. That's what she eats. And she likes them live. We have put mealworms in there. She tends to bury them. She does not want anything to do with them. They're dead, and she thinks they need to be buried. So a lot of times we just put them in there with powder on them, hoping that maybe the crickets will eat them and that she gets a little bit of the nourishment from the crickets when they walk through the powder and eat the mealworms. See, she's probably getting a little bit tired. And she's just resting a bit. Look at her, she is just she's getting it. She's getting it off. Almost there, girl. I'm sure that is very itchy and uncomfortable to wear, so she probably wants to get that off as soon as possible. Now, inside that rock, we have some moss that we buy at the Tie-Dyed Iguana. We got to keep that moss moist for her for these times specifically. This is for when she's shedding, because if the moss is not moist and she can't get that off, it can wrap around her little toes and cause her to lose a toe or a claw. So we have to be very careful and make sure that she has wet moss for when she is shedding, because they do have a tendency to lose their toes otherwise. And we do not want her to lose her toes. These can come in an array of colors. They're a little bit green. They're a little bit golden. She is very, very golden yellow. which I have heard that yellow is a kind of a rare quality. I'm not real sure because, you know, she's always been very, very yellow. Whenever we first got her, though, she was very bright and colorful, and I just loved the colors, but she has gotten mainly just yellow these days. She doesn't have much other colors. Something else that I love watching her eat. And it's just so funny because her little tail on the very tip will just shake rapidly like a almost like a rattlesnake whenever she goes to strike at the crickets. And she's pretty good at catching them. And these geckos will eat probably 5 to 10 crickets a day, just depending. As they get older, they tend to eat a little less. We buy about 2 dozen a week now. We don't buy a whole lot because the crickets tend to die, and so we end up with a whole big cage full of dead crickets, and that's just a waste of money and not very economical. So we just try to buy a couple of dozen at a time. She seems to do just fine with that. It only costs a couple of bucks a week at the Tie-Dyed Iguana, one of my favorite places to go. I buy all my fish there as well. We have 3 leopard danios and a male beta. They're Siamese fighting fish. You may have heard of them. We also have 3 little neons. Look at her shaking her tail. And a couple of algae eaters and a couple of bottom dwellers. I have a 35-gallon aquarium. I love my fish. I try very hard to take good care of them. It is quite, oh, look, she's getting it off of her head. Quite a challenge to keep the pH balance. Oh, there she goes. She's going to start eating it now. She'll have that off here real quick soon. Now that she's getting that off there. These type of geckos have no teeth. There are geckos with teeth, but she has none. So even if she were to bite you, it would not be painful. You would just feel a little bit of a pinch, possibly, but there's no way that she could hurt you. But there are, there's like the Amazon type of gecko, the rainforest type do have some very, very sharp teeth. Because they showed me at the Tie-Dyed Iguana, and they got a good, nice hold of him and drew blood. So that's not good, but yeah, I'm grateful she has none, so we don't need to worry about that. And I love to watch her with her tongue. Sometimes she uses her tongue to help clean her eyes. But she does seem to have eyelids. A lot of geckos do not. I found that very interesting. So we do have to keep a heat lamp here because we have to keep the temperature nice and warm for her. She likes it around, I'd say 70, 78 degrees. Well, this one's about 86 right now. So you can keep it, you know, you want to keep it plenty warm for her, but have areas for her to get cool, like we have the coconut and the rock where she can go and cool off. But this is the type of environment that she is used to. Oh, she's getting it on. She's gonna go into her rock, I think. She's just trying to use whatever tool she can to get all that off of there. Oh, it says she's getting tired of being filmed. Maybe she's just wearing out. But you can see she has it just about off.